Chapter 4, Involution of Spirit and Evolution of Matter. A member of the Brotherhood speaks. We desire to give all our instruction in simplicity, to make our statements as concise, informative, and instructive as possible. Therefore, we endeavor, and will continue to endeavor, ever to tear aside the veil or curtain of superstition. Man of Earth asks questions for only one reason, because he has become steeped in early superstitions and erroneous teachings. It is for that reason we quite often refer to the Holy Writ with that which man in the present era is familiar with. It has been the guideline, and therefore we have ever endeavored to properly interpret for him that which has been superstitiously taught. One of the questions we hear man of Earth ask is this: if life has always been complete and man and his creator are one in all aspects of life, why was it necessary for man to make that long trek through the many paths of life, the many incarnations with its many experiences of heartbreak, only to eventually seek his way back through the jungle of illusions, back to the oneness of the Father? It is for the reason that man is understood to be desired to be here. Man did not desire to be or live in imperfection, however. In your Holy Writ, there is a story of the fall of man, do you remember? Also, there's the first murder, if we may use that term. Man is recorded, Cain slaying Abel. This is the first recorded murder, and we do not like to use this term as man of Earth does. Now, what sum total or composite is man of that which God created? Out of that which God created, and what did God make? You remember that God created first and then made, and that which God created was good, was it not? Could God have made evil out of that which is good? Some of you might reason that the five senses have misinterpreted the truth and man lost his way. But how and why did the five senses misinterpret and create that which man today recognizes as evil? Now the Master Jesus said, "In my Father's house are many mansions." In this mundane sphere of life that you are living in, the only inhabited part in the Father's house, there are many planets that are inhabited, and that is truth. Now, all creation was created by God in the beginning, as well as in the finality. However, as that which God made out of that which created, through that which man knows is the process of evolution, the physical form did not keep in rapport with the involution of the soul or spirit. Therefore, it became a denser form of the creation of that which man knows is the beginning, and therefore the error took place. It is this which was referred to into the scriptures as the fall of man. It is not because Eve handed Adam an apple. Sometimes it is referred to as the war in heaven. That as well, but ever remember that heaven is a state of consciousness. Some erudite earthly teachers would say that it is at the point that mind was split. That is correct, such apprehension, for the mind was never split, for there's but one mind, and that is the mind of God, which is perfect mind, of which man is perfect part. Spiritually so, but regrettably to say, he is not using it. Now, as that which God made out of that which he created became a denser form of that which man now calls matter, may we repeat, the involution of the soul became retarded and therefore could not radiate its perfection to its fullest extent through that which God made out of that which he created. That was the battle in consciousness. Man is further deluded to believe, and that is regrettable to state, that heaven is a state or place geographically reached, which is not true. The separation in consciousness would give its appearance as a separation, but in reality, it would be a separation as if in parts or levels. And this is what we are endeavoring to do, to bring all parts or levels back into oneness. For the Master, Yeshua said, "As in heaven, so on earth," but the translator said, "As in heaven, so on earth." In one of our earlier lessons, we said that the physical body was of the earth, earthly. Man is not of the three-dimensional world. He is of the fourth-dimensional world. The fourth-dimensional world is the creative power of all that is, and of which man is the most intricate part thereof. It is where the union of will and love take place. It is the wedding feast of Cana, where the water was turned into wine. And it made them merry, did it not? What happens when the involution of the soul keeps in rapport with the evolution of the physical temple? There must then be perfection in the flesh, must there not? It is the turning of the what into what. In the story of the wedding of Cana, even as it was narrated in the present-day Holy Writ, does it not state that the Galilean turned the water into wine? It created no destruction. They became happy and feasted, did they not? Therefore, then, when man gets back unto the path, if we may use that term, of spiritual realization, of realizing his oneness with the perfect creative power of the universe, the involution of his soul continues and eradicates all imperfection from the flesh temple which has been brought about by that which man calls error. And for the want of teaching man something of error, the earlier theological body of the theologians created an entity which they called by name a devil. They conceived him with horns, cloven hooves, a tail with a pitchfork. Is that right? Then they created a fiery abyss, placed him in the fiery abyss to reign there forever. That is mythology. Now you erase the letter D from the word devil, and you have the truth of the existing devil or satanic majesty, if you please. It is evil. And when man continues to practice evil, it is because he thinks evil first. You cannot practice good or truth until you have first thought it. Neither can you practice anything until you have first thought it. Therefore, the great myth, the great fable theology, the devil, having walked too far to the edge because he was angry with God, and in his anger he fell from heaven to earth, and then to that place created for him called Hades, or here, hell, that is all mythology. It is descent in consciousness. Now let us reason in this wise. We will accept for the sake of proof to our statement that your orthodox theologians are correct in saying that man of earth can be saved from his sins. We shall accept that temporarily, if that is possible. How is this brought about? Man listens to the fiery-tongued theologians, the evangelists, the pilgrims of God, and their fiery sermons, many of which are based on fear, changes his thinking, and therefore he has become saved. Is this correct? Let's come to truth. Does it necessitate a silver-tongued orator, or does it take a fiery-tongued theologian to teach the truth? Is it necessary for the teacher of truth to paint a beautiful picture of heaven with cherubims and seraphims flying about, and opposite to it, paint a picture of that which he calls hell with crackling embers, fire, and brimstone? The teacher of truth paints no such picture, yet truth teaches man to change his thinking. Thus, man, God-man, comes back on the path of involution of the soul, soul's growth and progress, thus evolving the physical temple and bringing it to rapport and unity through the process of evolution. Because of the evolution, the constant and continued growth of the soul brings the flesh temple, that which God made out of that which God created, back upon the path of that which theology calls righteousness, or right use of mind consciousness. Now, is this understandable to you? There's only one heaven out of which to fall, and that is when man degrades himself in consciousness. Mind you that well, for as a man liveth in consciousness, in truth, and in honor, so he shall live in earth. As above, so below. As he lives in heaven, in earth, he radiates that to his fellow man. Therefore, in our instructions, we have admonished you, never proselytize. Let your light so shine that your fellow man shall see it. Do not place your light under a bushel. Remember when the Master said, "And I, if I be lifted up, shall draw all mankind to me." He was referring to the ascension of consciousness into the infinite light, or the I Am. The one who lives in truth does not find fault with his neighbor or his fellow man. The one who lives in truth is not given over to slander or gossip. The one who lives in truth, when he shares his love and his earthly goods, seeks no glory for it. Thus, his fellow man says, how can they do it? What do they possess that makes of them such very singular individuals? Thus, the neighbor, the fellow man, shall seek to know more about you and your philosophy of life. Thus, the so-called hidden mystery of his brother is revealed. Humility, humility, humility. The Nazarene knew, for he said, "Let not the right hand know what the left hand doeth." There is another age-old statement. It is human to err. It is divine to forgive. These are not just coined words. They are definite, positive, accurate, deliberate statements of truth. As we pass among you, although we are unseen to human eye, we hear many say it is difficult to live as a student or a seeker of truth. Well, it may so appear to some that it is difficult, but beloved, it is not difficult. Remember, All that which you now possess, which lends to you comfort, physically speaking, and permits you in others indulgences not enjoyed by many of your fellow men, these comforts and possessions are not just an accumulation of this incarnation. They are the reward of every good you have done as you have crossed life's sands. That is why individuals have crossed your path where you could share, and as you have wisely and lovingly shared, you have multiplied your good. In every life's pattern, the bread that is cast upon the waters of life and love unselfishly shall return to the giver or the one who cast the bread. For every good, there's a goodness, and for every goodness, there's another good. And for every good, there shall come another goodness. Love begets love, goodness begets goodness. That action and its equal attraction is the involution of the soul in rapport with the evolution of that which is known as physical body and its environment and circumstance. When the involution of the soul becomes retarded, there is evidence of stagnation of the physical body and its environment and circumstances, for progress shall never spell mortal retrogression. Does this sound reasonable to you? Therefore, it is wise for man to remain close to God, for the kingdom of God is in man's consciousness. Where God is, heaven is, and every pure, clean, white, bright, happy, harmonious thought is an angel in heaven. As man creates angels and sends them forth out into that which man knows as the universe, there shall return to him the manifestation of what he sent out. Remember, as above, so below, as in heaven, so on earth. A prayer of comfort, prayer of peace, prayer of love is an angel. Dear hearts, a loving, protecting angel in God's heaven.